Hindus are minority in about 8 union territories and states, but we are not considered a minority. So all state and central minority schemes do not apply to them, even if they are in minority. Modi ji, in all his goodness of heart, wanted Muslims to have. He said, I'm okay if you want to have a Quran in one hand, but in the other hand, you must have a computer. This is in the first term. I'm sure all out of his goodness of heart, his belief that he can change the system and so on and so forth. So there are minority schemes, pre-matriculate 12,250 crores and 5,000 crores post-matric scholarships, all given between 2008 and 2023. Of course, this covers 2 terms, UPA and the NDA term. There are now, per law, Urdu and madrasa educated people who have nothing to do with English who are entering IAS. I thought the number was about 150 out of the 800 IAS, but at least from public records that I could check, it is lower, but it's still about 50 or so. And institutions like the Zakat Foundation actually have set up large buildings and institutions where they teach people how to get into PCS and IAS services, right? So it's just full, very well organized machine which runs and thinks 20, 30 years ahead, much longer perhaps. And that is why, I don't know if some of you have heard that things like, जब हमारा वक्त आएगा जब योगी और मोदी नहीं होंगे तब राम मंदिर का क्या होगा, we'll show you. There are videos like that to that effect as well. So they think very long term. The Hindu declining population, our total fertility rate is at 1.9. The population stabilization is supposed to be at 2.1. In states like Tamil Nadu, Hindus are at 1.4, which is lower than most European nations. And what I also consider Hindu, for example, the Jains and the Sikhs are at 1.6, Jains are at 1.2. The population decline and the decimation of the religion and the entire population is imminent. It is going to happen. It cannot be stopped unless, you're thinking 50, 60 years and start having 10, 12 babies or something like that. So it's imminent that they're going to be decimated. Let's look at some of our solutions. And I want to bring up this framework of modern medicine, palliative, curative, preventive. And in my worldview at least, palliative is all suppressing of symptoms, managing symptoms, putting a band-aid, or if you have blood pressure, pop a pill, manage your blood pressure, which is all the framework of allopathy. Curative and preventive, once again in my worldview, comes in Ayurveda, where you actually don't worry about what the disease is. You don't solve for the disease, you cure the being with a disease. That is a term, the phrase used by one of the Vaidyas I work with, Dr. Ramkumar. So it was wonderful, I thought. And so curative and preventive sort of comes in the Ayurvedic frame view. Let's look at our solutions. Anti-conversion laws against love jihad, bulldozer justice, which we feel very proud of. And I'm not saying they're wonderful, right? UCC, freeing temples from government, 370 removal, Batenge to Katenge campaign. There are many organizations who are asking for weapons training for Hindus because we are totally de-weaponized. So I've color-coded them. The pink ones are, in my view, palliative, which are extremely short-term. They may offer us some solutions for now, but they will not solve our problems. Just like blood pressure medicines. Freeing temples from government is perhaps the only curative or preventive long-term solution that we have. UCC, I don't know, it's not a Hindu problem at all actually. You're basically telling the other that we are behaving ourselves, you also better behave yourself. Okay, how does it help us? I'm not sure, except perhaps one wife, so you may be able to solve for some population growth. That also, I doubt you can control that. Article 370 removal, wonderful in its current framework. Can Hindus go reclaim that? Little bit doubt. So maybe I've color coded these two orange, which means little gray area. Long term maybe. Then of course the others. BJP should remain in power. Yogi ji should win UP elections or become the PM, campaign against halal, display owners. We had this whole movement during the Kavod Yatra where Muslim restaurant owners had to declare who owns the restaurant because they own Ganesh Dhaba and run by a Muslim. And so they were forced by the Yogi government to display their names and so on and so forth. All of these, the Hindus for AC service, painting, there are organizations across the country who are trying to build organizations so that we reclaim the spaces we've lost. All of these, in my view, are palliative and short term. What am I after? I'm also going to talk about that. I'm after two things broadly: making Hinduism missionary again and building a 1,000 crore fund. I'll talk about the first one first. 2047 Viksit Bharat is all great, but what is the other vision for India? Right? What else do we hear? What is the, are we okay being an economic power and be like China? Or is there something more that we should look for? I am not okay with that alone. We are some core Hindu problems. We are basically a constitutionally an Abrahamic state. Just to give you a small example, the word equality, comes from a French Revolution, which emanates from a very Christian worldview, if you like. All people are born equal and so on and so forth. Hinduism does not have any idea of equality. At the spiritual level, we are all equal like nobody else ever claims, because we are all Atmas, we are all Aham Brahmasmi, right? But at the physical level, we are all unequal, and that is how nature designs it. Otherwise, nature abhors sameness. But we have an idea of equality, which is where reservation and all delivering equal outcomes for society, all this emanates from. So we have a worldview, then we design doctrines like equality or secularism, then institutions happen, and then lived reality is all the caste reservations and so on and so forth, which are just going on increasing in the country. So we are constitutionally an Abrahamic state, actually. Of course, all the conversions by Christianity, coercive, mostly population growth, endless types of jihad, love, land, whatever else, and the anti-Hindu, very vile Bhim movement, if you like. So I asked some questions other than our problems, that will stone pelting on Ram Navami Shobha Yatras be a thing of the past? Will that stop in 2047? Will Christianity stop soul harvesting? Will we have a fair and fast justice delivery? Will we have a fearless society where I can criticize not only Ram but Muhammad as well, openly? So I ask myself these questions, and in my view, that is not where we are headed. So a vision that I at least came up with out of my own naive mind, if you like, is an Indian nation state that protects, preserves, promotes its indigenous religions, traditions, culture and values. This would be an India that I would want to see, which is nothing else but a definition of perhaps what we call a Hindu Rajya. I like the term Hindu Rajya rather than a Rashtra, because we are told we are already a Rashtra, so I don't know what we are working towards. By saying a Hindu Rajya, at least I have clarity. But this requires rewriting the constitution, which, because of separation of powers and because of the basic framework of the constitution, is not going to be possible without cessation of electoral democracy, which means a dictatorship, and that's an impossibility. So what should we do? What I'm after is an expansionist Hinduism, which actually goes and converts, and we know that all of Southeast Asia was and perhaps still Hindu-Buddhist. So I don't know why we keep saying that, oh, Hindus never convert, we are born Hindu, and that's the only thing. That's not true. That has never been true. So I'm after raising the population, and this is a whole mission. I won't go into this too much, except saying that the delivery mechanism of changing this, of doing this, is through temples, mathas, kathavachaks. If they start saying that we are openly and publicly, if they start saying that we are open for Ghar Vapsi, not coercion, but saying if you want to come, we welcome you. Which jati you will go in, let me decide. Bageshwar Baba will decide, Swami Advaishananda will decide, Swami Chinmayananda will decide. Every Swami of their own sect, of their own mathas, they can decide how they want to induct people. Sri Ravi Shankar can decide. We already have examples. Arya Samaj, ISKCON, Lingayats, They don't need anybody else's definition to induct anybody who comes in. So the same thing others can do as well. And each district, that would be a good vision to have, that each district of the country should have a lawyers team of 3-4 lawyers who are enabling name change on Aadhaar cards. The Rig Veda in fact has an ask of you. It says Krindvanto Vishwaryam, go make the whole world an Arya. And we say that no, we don't convert.